Hello everybody, Mobius1 here, coming to you from inside quite a different MMO, yet somehow still familiar, the Repopulation. This is an independent, indie game, I should say, developed MMORPG by Above and Beyond Technologies that, since the beginning, has been kind of pitched as being heavily inspired by Star Wars Galaxies. So you'll see a lot of things in this game that you're going to be like, wow, that reminds me just like Star Wars Galaxies. But at the same time, there's a lot of new and interesting stuff that they've done. Some good, some arguably not so good. Yeah, I don't know. I've had this game for a while, and I have never made a video about it. The plan was to do like a whole Let's Play series on it, but I don't really even know why I never did. I played this game for probably about 2 weeks straight. I was really addicted to it for those 2 weeks, and then afterwards I just got bored with it and stopped playing. But there is a reason I'm making this video now. I won't go more into that, but I figured I might as well do like a featured video on it, show you guys a little bit about it, the way you can see it. Maybe comment, post your feedback. Some people might already have it. I don't know. But yeah, so let's go over some of the stuff. This is my dude. Yeah, he's wearing blue armor. Cool, huh? Looks kind of like composite, sort of. Nah, not really. Looks like he's got a typical Space Marine helmet on. You know, cool stuff. The game world is huge, first of all. There's only one planet right now. But the planet in this game is easily 10 times, probably bigger. Probably like 20, 25 times, if not more, the size of a planet in Star Wars Galaxies. And I'll show you guys the world map a little bit later on. As you can see, like, I'm in the middle of a city. There's a lot going on here. Looks like there's some dude with a pet. Alright, so I'm just going to say this right out of the gate. This game, it's still in early access, so it is very, very buggy and glitchy. This game is part of the reason I stopped playing this game is because the lack of polish is, even as someone who's very forgiving when it comes to games and being, you know, like either good looking or just polished overall, I'm consider myself very forgiving. After a while, it started to get to me, and this is just one of the games that, like, I understand it's early access, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to a lot of stuff, but, like, you'll just be running around, and the game will kind of lock up for no reason. So, unfortunately, I have to get that out of the way first, because we're probably going to see it quite a few times, and I wanted people to be aware that, sure, my computer is not the best gaming rig out there, but it is actually a problem with the game. It's not just my PC. I have my graphics settings running at... I mean, here, you can see I have most of my stuff turned down. Well, medium, low. My lighting, yeah, alright. View distance I have turned all the way up. So, I don't know. I have resolution as 1920 by 1080, so I've got the resolution as high as I can set it. The game is definitely more graphically demanding than Star Wars Galaxies. But it's running on a slightly... The engine, I don't know if the engine's definitely more advanced. You do have like a slight physics system that Star Wars Galaxies doesn't have. Jumping, you can actually jump over objects and stuff, unlike Star Wars Galaxies. Look, we have entertainers. Alright, so gameplay. It's more action-oriented than Star Wars Galaxies. It's actually closer to like the Old Republic in terms of combat. You can see at the bottom here I have quick bars. Just like the Old Republic, just like World of Warcraft. So the combat is very much like that, but the skill system is really where this game is interesting, though I will say probably the most interesting whole aspect of this game is the crafting system. And I think since this game was so heavily inspired by Star Wars Galaxies, and since Star Wars Galaxies has such a great crafting system, they decided to take it a step further. And I dare say that the Repopulation's crafting system is the most complicated crafting system in any MMO. Now, I know that there are some complicated crafting systems out there, but wait until you see this one, okay? This crafting system, like the interdependencies of the different crafting professions in this game is beyond belief. Like, Star Wars Galaxies doesn't really have... I mean, there is some interdependencies in Star Wars Galaxies. I can't think of many off the top of my head. Like, the first one I can think of is Combat Medic. Like a good combat medic, in order to make good combat stims, they need some of the advanced components crafted by a doctor. So there's an interdependency of crafting professions there. That is just the tip of the iceberg as far as interdependencies go in this game. So, alright, but let's talk about combat first. So these guys out there, I'm a rifleman, by the way. You can see I got my laser rifle here. I'm just gonna kill this vulture. Oh, alright, so this move I can't use. I have to be kneeling or prone. So let's... Whoops. It's not C. Shift C? Oh, V. There we go. Well, so you got your postures. Just like Galaxies, you can do standing. Whoops. Kneeling. Or prone. Look at that, you can do a little roll. How cool is that? So yeah, let's shoot these guys. Even the sound effects sound very Star Wars Galaxies, don't they? Oh, this guy. I don't remember my moves. I keep pressing C by accident. Oh, I'm gonna die. Alright, run away. Do I have a burst run? Burst run. Should probably have my buffs on. Be careful. I've not played this game in months. So, if I die, I hope you'll forgive me. Alright, good. I made it away. Alright. Phew. Well, we're off to a great start. Alright, so... let me take a look at my inventory. Holy cow, inventory overload. Alright. The UI has actually gone through an overhaul since I've last played, so I might actually take a minute to relearn, like, some of my keybinds and stuff. I probably should have done a refresher before I started recording, but hell, we'll do it live, right? Alright, so, I mean, combat is pretty straightforward. How does XP work, though? Because you'll notice I don't have any experience meters on my screen. In the top left corner of my character portrait, I don't have an XP or a level. I do have... You have health. You have... I believe this is stamina? Yeah, alright. So you can, like... You can sprint. Oh, that's how you sprint. That's right. This is, I believe, focus or something like that. Maybe... Oh, momentum. Alright, so it says in the bottom right. So I have health, endurance, momentum. So certain moves will generate momentum and certain moves will spend momentum. And then this is kind of interesting. This is your armor energy. So you can see I have like a really small orange bar here and then a really large orange bar here. This is actually like armor energy and weapon energy. So you actually determine how you want your energy split up. So since I'm playing like a DPS role, I have more of my energy dedicated to weapon and less dedicated to armor. But here it is in your character sheet. You can actually split this whichever way you want. So if you want to play a more tanky class, you could put 80% of your energy towards armor, and now this will act as like a shield, so it's essentially more health. But now you have much less weapon energy to use on like special abilities and stuff. So I thought that's kind of cool. So it's kind of like a stat migration in Star Wars Galaxies, except you can, as you can see, you can do it pretty much on the fly. There are also vehicles. So I have here like a cycle. It's called a fast racer. Oh, they added sound effects. These guys actually used to be completely silent. still use some work, but I mean, they're coming along. But to make it even more interesting, can I get rid of this? How do I store this? Oh, there we go. They also have walkers. Yeah, look at the size of this thing. Whoop, it's focused on the ground. That's kind of interesting. Alright. Alright, no sound effects for this guy yet, but look at that. And the cool thing is, am I even able to go, oh look, I can't even fit. I can't go out the door if I wanted to. I'm stuck inside. Can I jump? I can't jump. But you do have weapons too, so if I was outside and able to target someone, I could shoot them from within the walker, though I don't think it really actually does that much damage yet, because I think at some point you're going to be able to outfit... I can't exit the vehicle because I'm not close enough to exit the vehicle. This is the kind of stuff that I mean. Like this, it's really lacking polish. Like I'm in a vehicle and I'm not close enough to the vehicle I'm in to exit the vehicle, so I had to despawn it. But I mean, there's a workaround, right? I despawned it and everything's fine, so technically it's still playable. It just needs a lot of work. Alright. Sorry, I got sidetracked by the vehicles. We're gonna talk about professions, and I gotta hit a bunch of buttons to find it. Oh wait, no, I found it. Good. Alright, so it's on your character sheet. So you have character, and you can see it has a typical, like, Knights of the Old Republic, World of Warcraft gear system, where you have slots for different gear. You can have accessories, different weapons, so you can actually dual wield if you want. Yeah. But if I go to skills, let's close all of these brackets, or categories here, and take a look at all of the different skills that we can learn in the game. This is basically like the same skill sheet or skill window that you have in Star Wars Galaxies, except they have it split into different categories. Alright, so let's just look at combat skills. We have aerosol tactics. I'm not going to go through all of these. So, alright, aerosol tactics, assassination, automatic weaponry, axe fighting, bladed weapons, blunt weapons, combat knowledge, counterattack, dirty fighting, dual wielding, handgun tactics, protection, rifle tactics, shotgun tactics, siege tactics, thrown weapon tactics, two-handed weapons tactics, and unarmed tactics. And you'll see here that I have a progress bar and a skill level for each of these. You see my rifle tactics, I am above average, a skill of 357 out of 500. Unarmed, I'm average. Combat knowledge, average. A lot of these I'm unskilled, but I do have some basic skill, like bladed weapons, I'm poor. Dual wielding, poor. So you can dabble in everything. I'm just going to come out and say, alright, you can learn every skill in the game on one tune. Alright, I said it. There is no skill cap in this game like Star Wars Galaxies has. If you put enough time into this game, you literally can master every skill in the game on a single tune. Yep. You can. However, what's interesting about the way they do this is, unlike Star Wars Galaxies, any skill mods or abilities that you learn in one profession does not stack or carry over to another. So, even if you do master rifle tactics and two-handed tactics or handgun tactics, if you master all of these, you're only going to get the bonuses that... Oh, look at this. Robot's walking on a tree. You're only going to get the bonuses that apply to whichever profession, like whatever weapon you're currently equipped with. So I can't use any of my unarmed abilities or even like my pistol abilities, my handgun abilities while I'm using a rifle, because that's the rifle. If I want to use those abilities, I would have to switch weapons. And because of that, even if a character has every single ability in the game, they're not more... I mean, obviously that character is going to be extremely powerful, but they're not going to be more powerful than somebody who's mastered just one profession and they're both using the same thing. Like, if I master just rifleman, I'm going to be just as powerful at rifleman or rifle tactics than the guy over there that's mastered everything when he's also using a rifle. I hope that makes sense. So, the cool thing about that is that goes for all of these. So, defensive skills, this is just like dodging, parrying, rifle defense, whatever. You would get that. Beneficial, you have animal handling, so there is creature handler. diplomacy, entertainment, first aid, intimidation, leadership, veterinary medicine, armor skills, heavy armor, light armor, medium armor, and shield tactics. Defensive we did general skills, acrobatics, concentration, stealth, survival, swimming, thievery, tracking, and vehicle control. And then the one we've been waiting for, 24 trade skills. These are your crafting professions. Are you ready? We have armor crafting, artillery, carpentry, chemistry, cosmetic styling, culinary arts, cybernetics, disguise, firearms crafting, fishing, foraging, genetic engineering, hacking, horticulture, installations, logging, melee weapons crafting, metalworking, mining, pharmaceuticals, robotics, tailoring, trap knowledge, and vehicle engineering. That's a lot of stuff, and yes, if you put enough time into the game, you can learn every single one of them. And as you can see, I've put a lot of time into a lot of these. I've got chemistry is average. Actually, it's almost just about above average. Cosmetic styling is above average because I really wanted to dye my armor blue because it looks so cool. Culinary arts, below average. Firearms, I was working on for a little bit. Foraging is average. Logging is above average. Man, am I good at cutting down trees, let me tell you. Mining, way above average. Metalworking, below average. So, I mean, I've messed around with a couple different crafting professions. So, let's look at, like, how this actually works. Alright, so first, we're going to need to decide what we want to make, right? And, alright, it's been a really long time since I've done this, so we're going to learn this all over again, together. Alright, so this is a crafting station. So we're going to right-click on this, and it's going to show us crafting on the left, our inventory on the right. The music in this game is really well done, too, by the way. So if you're like me and you're a huge geek over, like, in-game soundtracks and music, the music in this game is so soothing, like, it just... You could put this on and fall asleep to it. But I mean that in a good way. Like, not while you're playing, but whatever. It's really good music. Alright, what are we going to make? 426 mining schematics. There's a lot of stuff here that you can make. I don't even know where to begin. What firearms do I don't even have anything in here that I could show you. So, what about first aid? No. Fishing? No. See, alright, I guess we'll just go to, like... Alright, let's say, because I was making armor dye, so let's say I want to make armor dye. So we have primary armor dyeing. Probably, maybe the best way to do this is to start in the database, because there's a whole... We have achievements, and you have knowledge. So you have knowledge of different plants, knowledge of different deposits, knowledge of trees, knowledge of species, knowledge of fish. And all of these bonuses add to, like, how easy it is to hit your target if it's a combat thing, like a species, or how much resources you pull from different, like, resource deposits. But where is the database? Auction. I'm just gonna start pressing buttons until I find it. Skill imprinting, that's something totally different. Surveying. No, player housing. Game database. Found it. Alright, so we're going to search for blue... Oh, wait. Blue primary chest dye. Okay? So let's say I want to dye my chest piece blue. Alright? So, this game database says that this is going to be crazy, so just bear with me here, because I'm probably going to lose a whole lot of you. But those of you that are really looking for a game with a really intricate crafting system, this is it, I'm telling you. Blue primary chest dye. You can use this cosmetic item to dye your chest primary color blue. Alright, so it says, produced in recipe, primary armor dyeing, which requires the skill, which is a skill in cosmetic styling. So I'm going to click where it says primary armor dyeing, and it's going to take me to the game database page for that skill. Now, what I need to do here is I need to find blue primary chest. So these are all the things that you can produce using this skill. Alright, So here is blue primary chest die. Alright? Now what I need... So what I'm going to need for this, I'm going to need dye, an armor dye kit, a mordant, and a turpentine as an agent. So... like, this is so crazy. Let's start with the dye. So, alright, so dye. The filter, by the way, for this is blue. So, right, so blue primary chest dye says filter blue. Which means when I go to the dye, I need to find one of these that produces blue. So, blue primary dye. Oh, God. Alright, so... Now, see, I'm lost already. I'm so confused. They changed the UI on this. Now I don't remember. Blue primary dye. Alright, so we need a pigment and a solvent. And one of these, the pigment, is the one that determines the color. Right? One of these is filtered blue. It's this one, ground metal wasp carapace, right? Yeah, I remember that. Filter blue. So, I believe I have these already. I actually believe I have all the stuff that we need already. So, alright, let me see. If I go to that, so it's going to be under cosmetic styling, primary armor dyeing. Okay. So when you hover over these, basically this is what you need. You need to fill these in. And when you hover over them, it tells you on the bottom right what it requires to go in there. But if you look even like in my inventory, as I hover over these, if I have anything that could potentially fill a slot, it highlights it for me. So I can see, if you look in the very bottom row of my inventory, see this thing right here? This is blue primary dye right here that I already made. When I hover over this slot, you see that same item actually lights up green on the right-hand side of my screen. So if I double-click this, it will actually put that in automatically for me. Now this armor dye kit, you actually have to buy this from a vendor. I don't think I have any right now. And then here we have a mordant. We need chromium. So I have chromium right here. This is what? Chromium acetate. So I put chromium acetate in here, and then for turpentine, I have turpentine. So I put some of that in there. Now, obviously, I would need one of these to actually make this, so I can't do that. But let's try making more blue primary dye. How do I make blue primary dye? It's going to be primary dye tinting? Whoops. No. Dye tint. I think this is it. Let's try. So, if this is... It doesn't produce anything? Really? Huh. Oh, see, I was trying to make dark tinting. To make dark blue dye. That's not what I want to do then. Yeah. See, I mean, chemistry, so there's so much stuff you can do in this. I don't even know how to show it to you guys effectively. I would have to sit here and relearn this whole thing to show you guys, which is, again, is probably something I should have done. But you can see it's very complicated. However, they did simplify the resource gathering. So, you know how in Star Wars Galaxies, all the resources have like a million different stats that you have to look at. You have overall quality, conductivity, decay resistance, all that stuff, and all of those numbers can be anywhere from 1 to 1,000. In this, they've simplified everything to a letter-number combination. So if you look at all of these crafting materials I have in my inventory here, you'll see some of them, if you look in the bottom left corner, this says C0, F9, F6, C0. This one says A5. So what these do is the letter could be anywhere from A through F, F being the worst, A being the best, and the number can be anywhere from 0 to 9, 0 being the worst, 9 being the best. So this little guy down here, F0, is the lowest, worst possible quality thing I could possibly find. This, on the other hand, A5, is pretty darn close to being server best. A9 would be server best. So this is only like 4 levels lower than the best possible resource you can have. And then this number in the bottom right here is the quantity, basically, in the stack. Interestingly enough, this number here in the top left is how many in this stack are of value A or of quality A5. So I actually have 119 A5, and then there's still more kind of like beneath that's lower quality. And I think, yeah, if I hold my right mouse button, I get, look, a radio menu, just like Star Wars Galaxies, where I can actually see, all right, so I have 119 A5, and I have 32 C9. Not bad. Can I see 200 is the max in a stack, so that's why there's 2 stacks there. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I really wish I could make something for you here. Let's see. I really want to make something. So let's do something easy. I have some wood here. I have Maypuri wood. What can I do with Maypuri wood? We'll right-click the station. Would that be probably under logging, right? We will do... is Maypuri hardwood or softwood? It's softwood. So it's probably under destructive distillation softwood. Yep, I can put Maypuri here. Then I need 2 agents. I need a heat source, which I can use this. I can use ethanol. And then I need distilled water, which I have distilled water here. Now, all of these need to be created. Like, you can't... Like, how did I get ethanol? I would actually have to make ethanol. So if I didn't have ethanol, I would have to look up ethanol in the game database and figure out what resources I need to make ethanol. And you probably... Like, it would be a chemical... process. So you would need either yourself, if you have chemistry skills, or you would have to find somebody who's a chemist to make the ethanol for you before you could even do this. Like, that's how crazy it is. So now that I have all these in, it tells me what I'm going to get. I'm going to get turpentine, and I'm going to get soft resin. Is that what I was going for here? Yeah, I guess so. That's how you get turpentine. So I'm going to hit process. You get 3 process stages, and this is kind of like experimenting, I guess, on your stuff based on your skill and your knowledge in the recipe determines how high up the grade you go. So you can see I went from F0 to F2. If I do process again, F2 to F6, and then F6 to D1, and that was it. So that gave me 3 turpentine, I don't know how to say it, and 3 soft resin of quality D1 it gave me, I think. Turpentine, D1. I have 3. Yeah. So, alright, what if I run out of ethanol, right? Because I only have 12 ethanol left, so that's good. So let's try to make that now. Where would I get that? Let's try that. Oh, come on. Is it not just ethanol? Oh, it's not under recipes. It would be under items. There we go. So hit ethanol. Alright, so it's made in chemical acidification chemistry. So if I click chemical acidification, we want to make ethanol. So we need to use diethyl ether. Diethyl ether is gotten through chemical acidification. Right? Did I get that right? Or did I read that backwards? Diethyl ether. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm supposed to be looking here. Alright, I was looking on the wrong side. Alright, ethanol. There it is. That's what I did wrong. Yes, chemical acidification. Where are you? Why did they change this? Alright, well, we know it's chemical acidification, so I'm going to click this. Then we choose the product. We want ethanol. So we need ethylene, we need carbonic acid, and we need distilled water. So luckily I do have all of these. I can use ethylene, use carbonic acid, and more distilled water. And there we go. That would give us 3 ethanol and 2 diethyl ether. So hey, we'll process, and we get F9 quality, which kind of sucks. But I'm gaining XP, so my increase your skill in chemistry, so now it's 201, and I increased my recipe mastery in chemical acidification by 2. So now, like, if you were to do this over and over again, you would grind it out. God, I'm doing a terrible job previewing this game, but it's way complicated, and unless you actually sit down and learn how to do it, you're gonna be like me, and you're gonna be stumbling over yourself, making a fool out of yourself this entire time. But I didn't want to play this game tonight. I just wanted to make a quick preview, so hopefully that was a preview enough. And coming soon, you'll find out exactly why I made this video. But let me know what you guys think. If you played the video, or if you've played the repopulation in the game, or in the past. Oh, I'm so ready for bed. Yeah, post a comment, let me know what you guys think. Alright, so thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing through that with me. And, yeah. Mobius One here. I'll see you guys next time. Right, so before I go, I promised to show you guys the world map, so I figured I'd pull this up. This is repopdb.com. Has actually a very important website for anyone who plays the Repop that wants to get into resource crafting. It's kind of like Galaxy Harvester for Star Wars Galaxies, so wait until you see this. It's really cool. So here's Plymouth City, which was this was basically the city that I was just running around in. You can see this is out here, out in front of the city is where I went into combat. We ran back in the path, ran in through the front gate, flew around in our vehicles for a bit. This is the crafting hall down here. So you get an idea of the kind of the size of the city. It's fairly large. So I'm going to just kind of pan here at first, show you guys. All right, so there's a couple different regions, or different, I guess, what are these called? Nodes? I don't know. Chunks? Different chunks of the world that you can enter. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Dare I say, okay, that maybe, being generous, the size of one Star Wars Galaxy planet is maybe this big. Right? Alright, fine. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. Let's zoom out a little bit. Maybe it's that big. Okay? You can see there's quite a lot here. And some of these are dead ends. Well, you can come down here, and these you see there's areas down here that are completely flat. That's for player cities, for players to build their own cities and actually fortresses. Because like the artillery and the siege warfare, you might have heard me say when I was reading through the skills, those are actually used to destroy buildings. All right, so I don't know how much of that has been implemented yet, but like the idea of the game, or the goal of like the final game, is not only for it to be open PvP, but it's like the destruction of player structures as well. So it's going to be, if like the potential this game has is amazing if they can pull it off. But they've got a long road ahead of them, but like I'm hopeful. Like it was definitely something that I'm keeping my eye on. But let's go back to the scale of this for a minute, okay? So just keep in mind, like down here, right? Like that's a whole city right there. And that was a pretty big city, right? So if we pull this out, just look at how small that is compared to this, right? Like, this is pretty big. I would argue to say that maybe like a Star Wars Galaxies planet is about the size of that. Okay? Let's continue on up. And continue on up. And continue on. And continue on. And yeah, alright. Look at how much there is there. Look at that. Wouldn't you say that maybe like that's a planet, that's a planet, that's a planet. Like these zones, these biomes seem like they would be about the same size as a Star Wars Galaxies planet. So we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have just about the same amount of actual like space to cover in this game that you do in all of Star Wars Galaxies, and this is all on one planet. But as you can see, like the environments of the planet change. So this is what, like a desert, this is like a swamp, this is like a volcano, you have a tundra, you have whatever this is, a tundra with purple mountains. I guess we're on an alien planet, so who knows. You know, your jungle. Like, it's just cool, right? So there are two factions. Whoops. There are two factions. So one faction starts way in the southeast. That's where I was. And the other faction starts way in the northwest. And all of this, like, land in the middle is open PvP. Like, if you venture this far out of the world, which, by the way, I think I was playing with a friend once, and we decided to go on an expedition from Plymouth City. And we managed to get... Where were we? We were here. I think we died... Oh, we made it to Sept Falls. I remember. We made it to this base right here. And I think I died somewhere in here by another player. Another player actually killed me. So we almost made it halfway. And let me tell you, it was tough. There were some creatures that we had to like run from that we thought were going to kill us. Like, it was fun. But the reason this website, I'm just going to take a quick aside and go back to talk about the crafting. The reason this website's very important to someone who plays this is because you can actually pick any resource in the game. So, let's say you really need copper for some crafting material or crafting recipe. You use this, click copper, it will actually show you all of the zones in the entire map that have copper. Now, every zone has like two resources from a different type. So you'll have 2 deposits, 2 types of fish, and 2 types of plant and 2 types of trees per zone. Now every zone has a primary and a secondary. So I believe that red means primary and blue means secondary. So like if you want copper and you're, this faction, Linwood is a really good place to go, and it actually will highlight on the map what region you can harvest copper in. And harvesting, it's simply like the nodes will spawn and you just right-click on them and you'll harvest them as long as you have the right tool. So harvesting does not take... It's not like Star Wars Galaxies, though there are, like, if there's a certain type of node, you can actually place harvesters on, but it's not, the nodes that you place the harvesters on, they're static nodes, and they have limited resources available. So once those nodes spawn, you need to have a harvester on them really quickly, and the resources in that node will actually drain... I think some of them within like an hour. So it's not like Star Wars Galaxies where you set up a harvester on a resource node and let it run for a week. It's not like that at all. Most of the harvesting in this game will be done manually, like World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings Online, something like that. Elder Scrolls Online. So, but there is something interesting in the sense that the resource respawn rate will actually be lower the more people that are in the zone. So even though Linwood here has a really high concentration of copper, if there's like 50 people that all come to Linwood and start harvesting that copper, the respawn rate of the copper is going to go down because there's so many people there. So it actually encourages players to go out to these higher, like these farther out zones. Because if you're the only player that manages to come all the way up here to the Amman village, and you're the only one there, the respawn rate in this zone is going to be ridiculously high. You could farm copper by yourself all day long, probably. So that's how that works, and which I think is pretty cool. And I mean, like I said, this website, you can use this to track any resource in the game. It's really helpful. Oh look, like in this case, this zone has 2 spawns of this particular kochia plant. Yeah, but I mean, as you can see, like some of them, I don't know any good examples. Like some of them don't spawn near the base, like the starting zone at all, and you actually have to travel pretty far. Like look, if you want to make if you want azul flower, you have to travel all the way up to here from the starting city just to get that. So you can imagine, like, there could be a whole lot of people here. Respawn rate goes down. Nope, too bad. You're going all the way up into North Plymouth Hills or the O'Doyle Meadow just to get a good spawn. So resource gathering is a huge deal. Open world PvP, huge map, kind of glitchy, but a lot of potential in the repopulation. Anyway, this video has been way longer than I thought it would be. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.